Can we all rise together and say the Pledge of Allegiance?
Flag of the United States.
Checking my phone too. Okay, Jamie, will you please call the roll?
Councilman Jeff Capel,
Here.
Councilwoman Jill Cole,
Here.
Councilman Lee Zerwanka.
Here.
Councilman Brian Gath,
Here.
Vice Mayor Pramod Javeri.
Here.
Councilwoman Katie Schneider,
Here.
Mayor Mark Cirkin,
Here.
7 present.
Do I have a motion to accept tonight's agenda?
The move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Do I have a motion to approve the regular meeting minutes of February 9th, 2023?
So
The
moved.
move.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
I have a amendment to make. I'd like to make a motion to amend our minutes. First, if I'd have a privilege just for a second, I want to say how grateful I am for Julian and whoever else that helps her who make our minutes appear as if by magic at the end of every meeting. I can't imagine the challenge it is to boil down what it is that we say over a very long time into just a few pages. She does a wonderful job summarizing, but I thought that the issue around the proposed stadium at Summit, the neighborhoods of Summit Park was important enough that my comments and the comments of the vice mayor be included. And so I move that we add on page 13, after the paragraph beginning Mayor Cirkin and other council members, with a new paragraph. In response to Councilman Zerwanka's question, Councilman Gath stated that he was concerned by the proposed project. He stated that the comments from the developer made him imagine an area more like the banks and that such energy did not match the rest of the park. Further, he was concerned of the impact such a project would have on the police and fire and felt relying exclusively on off-site parking would have a negative impact on the other users of the park. He stated his agreement with the city manager, stating that council needed to investigate what types of development corporations would be looking for to match a hybrid work system. Vice Mayor Javardi stated that Summer Park was a family park and that it was not appropriate for there to be projects that detracted from that. He also stated that the city had approved enough residential projects at the neighborhoods of Summit Park and that he was not in favor of more.
I would second that we amend the minutes. Favor?
Aye.
And now can we get an approval of the amended minutes?
Did we have a second?
Do we have a second? We have second from.
The original
Vice Mayor
motion?
Javardi.
Yeah, I think.
You were second, okay.
Yeah, we did have a second. And then so we have a second to approve the amended minutes from Vice Mayor Javari. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
Thank you.
very good. Jamie, do we have any communications from council?
No, sir, not tonight.
Any reports from outside agencies? The state forfeiture year-end report for 2022 will be entered into the public record. And the mayor's report for February of 2023 will be entered into the public record. Do I have a motion to accept the financial report for February of 2023?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We're going to move to hearings from citizens. If you wish to speak, please approach the microphone and state your name and address. If you have any materials to pass out, please give them directly to Jamie, the clerk of council. Please keep your comments as brief as possible to allow others a chance to be heard. Hearings from citizens is for us to listen to you and your neighbors. It is very unlikely that we will make any remarks immediately after you speak. We need to have a chance to reflect on your comments. Sometimes during miscellaneous business later in the meeting, we do revisit an issue brought forward. The clerk of council will notify you when 3 minutes has passed, and at that point, please wrap up your presentation. Most importantly, let's treat each other with dignity and respect.
Hello, everybody. My name is Hugh. My name is Hugh Martin. I live at 3880 Moeller Road. I've been there since 2012. My wife grew up in Blue Ash. She lived over in the Hazelwood area. We've got family in the Hazelwood area. So I'm here tonight to ask for help or comments or some kind of, to help me. I'm kind of losing my battle with this stormwater. As you know, Friday was pretty bad. I got some pictures to share with you guys. I've spent a few $100s. Well, I've spent hundreds of dollars building retaining walls with riprap, concrete, and the water is actually undershooting it. I'm losing big boulders, losing trees. The water is washing away the roots. So I've got some pictures here if you've got any questions about them. On the second page, there was actually a tree there at one point with some land. It was like a land bridge. It's completely gone. It's got washed away. And then on the third page, that bank was actually a lot steeper. It's gone. The tree is gone. It was there. And then I've got some pictures of the storm we had Friday, and this is happening quite a bit. There's always water in that creek. I understand the flow of everything, but I'm getting, my property runs from Moeller Road to Carpenter's Run to Cooper Road. So I'm getting 6 sources of water coming down that creek. We own about 3.4 acres in there. And so I'm just here to ask for help. Appreciate everybody. And I was introduced to Gordon. So
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank
Martin.
you.
Denise Gretchen, 4911 Cooper Road, Blue Ash Branch Library. Good evening. I wanted to share with the community that we started our Memory Cafe program again. We're doing a series of 3. Our first one was this past week. Our next one is going to be April the 13th, and we're going to have Peas in a Pod. And that is a bluegrass classic group. And we're focusing on like Appalachian history. And then May 11th, we're going to have a Memory Cafe story quilt where people can come, pick pieces of a quilt, create their own story. These are going to be Thursdays at 10:30. So April the 13th and then May the 11th. And I'd like the community to be aware about our programs that we have for children. So Mondays at 10:30, we have our toddler times. Tuesdays at 10:30, we have library babies. And then on Wednesdays at 10:30, we have movers and shakers. And stay tuned for where we're going to have movers and shakers because we used to have it in the Veterans Park. So we have been in contact and communication with people at the Blue Ash Recreation Center to talk about future partnering. Sarah Tower and Callie Fisher. So shout out to them for working with us. And I look forward to seeing the community at the branch.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Mr. Nord.
My name's Peter Nord. I live in Kenridge Lake. I remember being president of the Blue Ash Industrial Association, and Marv Thompson always came to our meetings. And he said to me one time, you know, the only question that is asked every time is about traffic. And so I'm going to bring up traffic. My wife was down at the drugstore, and it took her half an hour to drive from Cooper to Kenridge Drive because of the bypass traffic that couldn't go on Cooper that was now using Kenwood Road. And when the ready-to-eat meals place with its hundreds and hundreds of employees lets out, there's bumper to bumper traffic from downtown Blue Ash out all the way along Kenwood Road. And when I think about how many hundreds of apartments are there going to be at the new development at Cooper and Kenwood, 200 apartments, 600, I forget the number. But there's going to be an additional amount of traffic there. And I may not live long enough to see it get developed at 84. You never know how long a guy's going to go. So it's not my problem, but I think you should think about it. And I noticed on the map that there's a proposal for a divider in the middle of Cooper Road between Kenwood and the railroad tracks. And what's his name? The developer with the.
House Silverman.
Silverman was here complaining about it. His renters from those buildings are going to suffer. And I would think that as the traffic at that intersection increases, people are going to say, gee, I don't want to go to downtown Blue Ash anymore. The traffic is just too bad. And I think that you have to consider there may be a negative effect to the businesses in Blue Ash and the reputation of Blue Ash if it turns into a tremendous choke point. And it would seem to me if the city still owns that land at the corner, that you should hack off another lane of traffic for traffic going from Kenwood towards the railroad track to provide a overflow lane for all the people that are going to go into that development. And that would be, if that's a thing for citizens to think about, I would think that would be a terrific idea. And if there's some expense in my taxes going to that, I'd be happy to see that as an expense, because I think there's not going to be enough lanes for traffic on Kenwood and Cooper Road. And another thing I'm concerned about,
3 minutes.
I am concerned that there is a safety problem that may occur at that location. You're going to have parking for what, 600 cars? I received a phone call from the university people that are doing the survey for Blue Ash, and they asked what I thought about that could happen in 10 years. Well, 10 years, that parking garage could be full of electric cars. And if the walls of that parking garage are shared with the apartment buildings and one of those electric car batteries should let go, we may have a real tragedy in Blue Ash. And I think you should think about that when you look at how the building is being developed. I had conversations with the fire chief about battery fires. When you consider that the garbage truck dumped its garbage out on one of the subdivision streets in Blue Ash because there was a battery fire inside, that he told me that one of his colleagues in the fire service said the only way to treat a battery fired electric car is dig a hole and jump the car in. So you are going to have to think about the garage in 10 years when it's full of electric cars and fire suppression.
Thank you. Anyone else? No one. We're going to move to committee reports. First committee report we're going to move to is Finance and Administration, Councilman Zerwanka.
Mayor, Jamie, please read resolution number 2023-18 by title only.
A resolution to levy special assessments on real property for the total cost of mitigating noxious weeds and high grass pursuant to Chapter 911 of the Blue Ash Code of Ordinances and ORC 715.261.
Move to adopt resolution number 2023-18.
Second.
Any discussion?
I'd like to say thank you to Paul and folks that added the Cornell Road to their location to their attention. This is the Envision Cinema, and it was getting pretty bad. So I really appreciate that. It looks a whole lot better, and makes a good impression for our city.
Anyone else? Jamie, please call the roll.
Councilman Capell,
Yes.
Councilwoman Cole,
Yes.
Councilman Zerwanka,
Yes.
Councilman Gath,
Yes.
Councilwoman Schneider,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Javari,
Yes.
Mayor Serkin,
Yes.
7 yeses.
All I have, Mayor.
Okay, we're going to move to Parks and Recreation. Chairperson Schneider.
Amy, could you please read resolution number 2023-19 by title only?
Authorizing the city manager to enter into an agreement with the Ohio Department of Natural Resources for the administration of a HB 687 grant award in support of the Town Square redevelopment project.
Move to adopt resolution number 2023-19.
Second.
As Jamie said, this is a grant that the city's been awarded for $300,000 for Town Square redevelopment from the Ohio capital budget. Any discussion?
I appreciate, I mean, I know sometimes these grant applications are big, they're difficult, and I really appreciate you guys taking the time to do all the work to get this.
Call the roll.
Vice Mayor Javari,
Yes.
Councilwoman Cole,
Yes.
Councilman Gath,
Yes.
Councilman Capell,
Yes.
Councilman Zerwanka,
Yes.
Councilwoman Schneider,
Yes.
Mayor Cirkin.
Yes.
7 yeses.
Jamie, please read resolution number 2023-20 by title only.
Authorizing the city manager to purchase golf course mowing and outdoor maintenance equipment utilizing the state of Ohio's cooperative purchasing program.
Move to adopt resolution number 2023-20.
Second.
Second.
Any discussion?
What's the projected lifespan of this equipment?
I believe the ones that they're replacing are about 12 to 15 years old.
Thanks.
Else? All right, Jamie, please call the roll.
Councilwoman Cole,
Yes.
Councilman Gath,
Yes.
Councilman Capell,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Javari,
Yes.
Councilman Zerwanka.
Yes.
Councilwoman Schneider,
Yes.
Mayor Cirkin.
Yes.
7 yeses.
Mayor, that's all I have.
Okay, we're gonna move to Planning and Zoning Committee, Vice Mayor Javari.
I have a motion, Mayor. Motion setting a public hearing for Thursday, April the 13th, 2023 at 7:05 PM for consideration of a zoning tax amendment and zoning map amendment.
Second.
Yeah, the discussion on that, I read the description of what has been proposed and I got my eyes started crossing and I really, if administration could provide a map at that would be very helpful to me anyway. I excluded and added and got confused. Thank you.
Anybody,
All in favor?
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, we're gonna move to the Public Works Committee, Councilperson Cole.
Thank you, Mayor. Jamie, could you please read resolution number 2023-21 by title only?
Amending resolution number 2022-32, accepting rights of way for public maintenance in the retreat at Summit Park subdivision.
Thank you. Move to adopt resolution number 2023-21.
Second.
And
This is a fairly straightforward issue. You know, we approved these issues earlier, but the Hamilton County Engineer's Office asked for further descriptive equipment, or information. So are there any questions or comments? Jamie, please call the roll.
Councilwoman Schneider,
Yes.
Councilman Capell,
Yes.
Councilwoman Cole,
Yes.
Councilman Zerwanka,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Javari,
yes,
Councilman Gath,
Yes.
Mayor Cirkin.
Yes.
7 yeses.
Thank you, Jamie. Could you please read resolution number 2023-22 by title only?
Amending resolution number 2022-33, accepting rights of way for public maintenance in Cooper Springs Lane.
Move to adopt resolution number 2023-22.
second,
This is just the same issue as the one that we just voted on. Is there any other questions or comments? Jamie, please call the roll.
Councilman Gath,
Yes.
Councilwoman Schneider,
Yes.
Councilman Capell,
Yes.
Councilwoman Cole,
Yes.
Councilman Zerwanka,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Javari,
yes,
Mayor Cirkin.
Yes.
7 yeses.
Thank you, Jamie. Could you please read resolution number 2023-23 by title only?
Authorizing the city manager to enter into a contract for the purchase of a commercial outdoor scrubber sweeper machine.
Move to adopt resolution number 2023-23.
Second.
second,
This is equipment that we need and it was included in 2023's budget. So it was part of our plan for the year. Are there any other questions or comments? Like what does the equipment do?
It cleans us.
Scrub the
cleans us up. Yeah, but we get to drive it when it comes in. Now, I was very pleased. It was interesting just before the meeting tonight, some new residents were commenting, heck, Blue Ash is awesome. I haven't seen a street sweeper in the longest time. And not only do we do that to keep our streets in good repair and looking nice, but the city manager pointed out that we also in the past and maybe currently receive a grant to allow us to do that more often. And that keeps all that debris and all that wash out of our waterways. So that's a great thing and another reason why we should be proud to live in Blue Ash.
Thanks, Brian. Any other questions or comments? Amy, would you please call the roll?
Councilman Capell,
Yes.
Councilman Zerwanka,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Javari,
Yes.
Councilman Gath,
Yes.
Councilwoman Cole,
Yes,
Councilwoman Schneider,
Yes.
Mayor Cirkin,
Yes.
7 yeses.
thank you, Jamie. Could you please read resolution number 2023-24 by title only?
Authorizing the purchase of 2 replacement pickup trucks for the service department.
Move to adopt resolution number 2023-24.
Second.
My understanding is the purchase of these were included in the 2023 budget as well. Gordon, did you want to add anything about these 2 vehicles?
No, these are just regular pickup trucks for our crews to use. But like all things right now, hard to get a hold of anything.
Any other questions or comments? Jamie, would you please call the roll?
Councilman Zerwanka,
Yes.
Councilman Gath,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Javari,
Yes.
Councilman Capell,
Yes.
Councilwoman Schneider,
Yes.
Councilwoman Cole,
Yes,
Mayor Cirkin.
Yes.
7 yeses.
thank you. Could you please read resolution number 2023-25 by title only?
Resolution authorizing the city manager to submit an application to participate in the Ohio Public Works Commission OPWC State Capital Improvement Program and Local Transportation Improvement Program, and to execute contracts as required.
Move to adopt resolution number 2023-25.
Second.
This is a project that was submitted for funding earlier and wasn't approved, and then there's been additional capital available, so we're resubmitting. It's for the repair of I guess it's called a bridge, but you wouldn't necessarily notice it as a bridge. Gordon, do you want to add anything?
So this is located north of Zigzag Road on Kenwood Road and south of Pfeiffer. But this was, we have been awarded the funds. This is just in order for us to receive the funds. So we applied for this. This was the second time we applied. We were turned down both times, but as Jill had stated, we were fortunate enough to move up above the cutoff line this time. So we did finally get some money for that.
Anybody have any questions?
Gordon, the resolution or the information from the city manager indicates that this work might be done in 2024. Do you have a season in mind or?
We would try to schedule it during when school's out. That'd be our preference.
How long is this expected? Any ballpark?
It would probably a couple months, but right now we don't know until we get a contractor engaged, but it would be a full road closure just because of how small Kenwood is at that location. Because we'd be replacing the whole bridge top, there's really no way to keep that open safely.
So it's the bridge top, not the supporting columns underneath?
That's correct. We're able to salvage most of that and reuse it as just a new bridge deck.
Specifically, this is the bridge just south of City Barbecue.
That's correct.
Yeah, and it's gonna force a detour when I go to lunch and back.
Any other,
Malsbury is a very good detour route, so.
any other comments? Jamie, please call the roll.
Councilwoman Schneider,
Yes.
Councilwoman Cole,
Yes,
Councilman Zerwanka,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Javari,
Yes.
Councilman Gath,
Yes.
Councilman Capell,
Yes.
Mayor Cirkin.
Yes.
7 yeses.
Thank you, Jamie. And last but not least, for me anyway, could you please read Resolution 2023-26 by title only?
Authorizing the city manager to enter into a contract for the Blue Ash 2023 sidewalk repair program for the unit prices as shown on the attached bid summary.
Move to adopt resolution number 2023-26.
Second.
As it stated, this is our, the bid for, or the program for our annual sidewalk repair. It's very exciting. I know that really it does make a difference. A lot of our residents are really happy to know that their sidewalks are going to be repaired. And I believe this is suggesting that we accept the base bid plus alternatives 1 and 2. Does anybody have any questions? Comments?
I have a
Amy?
quick question. So were the alternatives that you decide to do them if the budget, if the numbers came in a certain way?
Yeah, we bid it all together as a package, and then we have a base bid, which is the minimum amount that our bid would be. And then we have all design alternates, so that in case the bids come in where we expect them to be, it gives us the ability to add to that project to try to get more done with our budget.
Anything else? Jamie, please call the roll.
Councilman Capell,
Yes.
Councilwoman Cole,
Yes.
Councilwoman Schneider,
Yes.
Councilman Zerwanka,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Javari,
Yes.
Councilman Gath,
Yes.
Mayor Cirkin.
Yes.
7 yeses.
Thank you, Mayor. That's all I have.
Okay, before we move to miscellaneous business, I have to do a special shout out to longtime Councilwoman Stephanie Stoller, who gave over 40 years of her hard service to the city, and she has a plaque up there on the wall for those of you who don't know. Those are for people that have served for more than 20 years. And thank you for coming. It is great to see you. All right, we're going to move to miscellaneous business. David, do you want to do a little bit about the
Yeah,
motion?
so this is my 20th year in Blue Ash, and yet I still have
Going on the
to
wall,
double,
too.
have to double my time to even get close to her. Think about that.
You still won't be there.
I still,
Yeah.
20 more years, I still wouldn't have enough because she actually has 44 years of service here. So she should have 2 plaques, right? Kelly, do you want to cover this since I'm really the backup today?
I'd be happy to. I have about 2 sentences. So in your packet, council, you received a memo about proposed modifications to the Summit Park Tower, and we're just looking for your blessing to proceed with the project.
When you say proceed with the project, do we mean like proceed to get a bid and then it comes back to council to approve the bid? Or is this just, here's the blank check and go?
So no blank checks, but I'm going to ask Gordon to weigh in on how design build works.
Yeah, so what we're going to be doing, we wanted to give you guys the design, the concept of what we're looking to do. As you recall, we had previously bid out the project. It came over budget by a very large amount. So we decided to redesign that and try to build it in a different way. So what you see in there is the design concept. We'll take that design concept to the contractors. And what we do is we do a request for qualifications package. We have an existing budget that we'll be shooting for, and their responsibility will be to design and construct the project. It's a design build, which is a little bit different than our typical projects where we design it, then we bid it, and then we build it. So they kind of wrap all that up into one process, typically streamlines it. And also they're typically the ones that are the experts in the field of what we're trying to do here. So this is a very unique and challenging project just because of the height of the project and so forth.
I will say the design build process is not terribly unusual. We've had experience with it from time to time. And while maybe you might want to counterintuitive, why didn't we get the lowest bid or whatever? What happens sometimes with the specialized work is because of the nature of saying, well, because we can control the design, not us, meaning the designer can control the design, they can help articulate the cost in terms of that implementation up front. And sometimes you result in a better bid. But as Gordon said, there's a budget on it. So it is not a blank check, but it will be, but we don't know the exact number on that. So.
The other thing too is my predecessor, we're talking about plaques on the board. won a case in 1995 on the design build process with respect to phase 3 of the rec center. So it's been blessed, this type of process has been blessed under our charter as far back as 1995.
I think it looks fantastic.
It does.
mean,
It really,
It's so much nicer than I kind of had in my head it was gonna look. I think it looks terrific. It honestly looks like it belonged in the building.
I agree. It's very unobtrusive.
right.
If you looked at it from a distance, you probably not even know it was there.
Yeah, and it doesn't seem like it's going to create an additional, maintenance hurdle if it was all enclosed with, a glass product or something like that. It really looks great.
My vision is failing at this tiny font size. I see very clearly the horizontal wires, ropes, if you will. Do I also see that there's a mesh covering that? And if so, can you describe it better?
So on the stairwell for the tower will be a stainless steel webbing or a netting. And this has been used in a lot of different projects like along bridges and so forth. But this would be a stainless steel in the stairwell. So that would secure those areas. And then the top, right now, the concept is steel cables that go across and that framework goes both vertically and then horizontally at the top to connect or surround back to the tower. So it would be enclosed.
With this concept, could they come back with something quite different, or does it have to stay pretty close to this? Is this what we could expect them to come back with?
Yes, that's a good question. The design concept is the target that they're shooting for. So the aesthetic, that the quality that we're shooting for, and what they will be bidding on. So when they present their qualifications to us, it's based on contractors who do this type of work. It's very specialized.
What are we projecting that the cost of this would be?
Well, right now we're projecting it's going to be probably between $1 million and $1.5 million.
Yeah, just not sure what problem are we solving for up to $1.5 million. Or if we look at it a different way, if we got a grant tomorrow that said, Blue Ash, here's $1.5 million to save as many lives as possible, is this what we would do with it?
I think we owe it to make an effort. And we've had situations that we can certainly make better. Some of us have had some issues that we're aware of, and this is something we can do. Unfortunately, it's become a problem and we can solve it. Don't know what else to say.
Especially when he's talking about what we will achieve. Achieving is that in the past, somebody went over the ramp and came down all the way on the floor. So we're trying to protect other people that they don't do the same thing what they have done, and we get sued and everything. So I think it's much better to protect ourselves as a Blue Ash. So I think this is the most inexpensive way and better way that we can protect our citizens and protect our Blue Ash city.
I think we have a responsibility to all our park patrons, whoever, from wherever, to make sure they're as safe as possible. So,
I think we've heard that pretty loudly and pretty clearly. We've got to
and
take action.
I
on
don't
it.
think you can put a price on that either.
I think if the tower is there, it's not like we can, I guess you could unbuild it, but it's there. So I also agree that I think we can do the right thing to help protect people that may want to make an unfortunate decision. And then it also, in a situation, protecting people below, if a situation like that does happen. I know this is a hard topic to talk about, and nobody wants to be up here in this position making this decision and talking about this, but I do think it is our responsibility.
I'm in favor of this, Mr. Mayor. I think we have a responsibility and a privilege. I mean, it's we're in a position where we can do this. Not every municipality can go back to safeguard things that they've done. We have an opportunity to do this. I don't think it's going to make one difference in where we are as a city financially 5 years from now. I think it may make a difference in somebody's life. So I'm in favor of this. I hear your point, Mr. Capel, that, you know, if you had $1.5 million, could you save more lives by doing something else? I think probably we could, but this is a problem that we have that I think we need to do. And I would be with you in supporting if there's ways that we can, you know, make investments to save more lives and address mental health in our community, then I'd be eager to hear how we might do that.
I'm willing to make a motion to proceed with the Summit Park Tower Design Build project.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed?
Done.
Thank
Any
you.
Yeah,
opposed?
I'll go on the opposed side for now.
Do you oppose this?
Yeah, the motion as stated.
Yes. Okay.
The other update, nothing should not surprise anyone. Just thought I'd give you a quick update. From time to time, we do, emergency contingency planning, disaster planning. Most frequently, the police and fire department do, but this week we got all of our departments together, as we have done from time to time, and just work with the emergency management agency and on a couple scenarios, and just did 3 or 4 hours of disaster planning. There's nothing really to report other than just to let you know it was nice to see us all get together and do that. We've had a lot of new faces and turnover in our different departments, and so we continue to be prepared for, hopefully not, but future emergencies as they arise from time to time. And springtime is certainly one of those time of years where emergencies happen from time to time. So other than that, I have nothing else to report.
Thank you, Kelly. Jerry, you're over there. Julie,
Nothing tonight, Mayor. Thank you.
Gordon.
Yeah, I have a couple things. Just wanted to let you know that the Plainfield and Hunt project will be starting up again. Obviously, it's been slowed down, and that was due to weather. The batch plants for asphalt will be opening up. Typically, it's around April 15th or so, and that varies just depending upon weather. And we're going to start getting the area on the west side of Plainfield and Peppermill. That's going to start probably tomorrow. They started some of it today. So you'll see southbound Plainfield at Reed Hartman will be going to a single lane. So it will be a little bit more tight there as they're finishing up the work on the west side of that road. So we're still hoping to get that project done here as quickly as we can. Still quite a bit of work to do there in that last roundabout. And then following that project, we'll be moving into landscaping and cleanup of that area. And then in the next couple of weeks, we've been working with overhead utility companies along Hunt Road for several months. They have to relocate some utilities in order to do the landslide repair that we have on Hunt Road near the Fox Run Apartments. So that closure is still tentative. We don't know the exact date yet, and it's 100% reliant on utility companies. So we're trying to get them all coordinated so that we can get that effort moving forward. That will be a full closure sometime probably later this month, but we'll be sure to notify everybody when that is going to take place. So I have.
Cruz.
I'd just like to encourage everybody to continue to go downtown. I know we got a lot of construction going on down there now with the park project started recently, and especially with those businesses on the west side of the park project. You guys notice, obviously, we started construction this week. The memorial's starting to come up. Demolition is beginning. We got some real troopers there in terms of the businesses. They're obviously going to have to deal with some dust and some parking constraints this year, and they've been really good to work with so far. There's a parking map available at blueash/townsquare.com. Rachel's been a good big help with that, with getting communication out and getting information out there. So if anybody is interested in more info about the park plan itself and or how we plan to work through construction with the businesses and such. It's all there online. And then just wanted to thank Gordon and specifically Ryan Nolan. This is a time where we kind of dig our heels in and really bird dog projects and such. And we've been doing that for the past 12 years pretty steadily. And I think we're pretty good at it. So this is an exciting time for everybody. Looking forward to that project moving on.
Thank you, Jamie.
Nothing tonight, Your Honor.
Echo. Woman Cole.
Sure, I really didn't have anything necessarily, except I know that someone was supposed to come and talk about the Earth Day Festival at Summit Park and during our citizen, oh, you're here. Oh, I just wanted to make sure that we at least mentioned that it was going to be Saturday, April 23rd. Is that the correct date? It says 22. Okay. I guess this is last year's schedule. Does anybody know what the date is this year?
23.
Okay. Great. That's all, Mayor. Thank you.
Since you have a month and a half before the event, I'd prefer you come back and do it with everybody else at Hearings for Citizens. Sorry. Councilman Capel.
Oh, nothing too deep. I'm just glad to be back this month. Had a couple unwelcome firsts at the last month where I finally got coronavirus for the first time, which then caused me to miss a council meeting for the first time. So those were a couple of unwelcome firsts for me. Much happier to be here. And then just the other one is I also had a constituent contact me recently about water issues on their property. And I appreciate the assistance of Paul from Community Development, who was also assisted by the Public Works Department. I know that water issues are one of the most thankless tasks of local government to try to solve, because since water flows, you always have to try to factor in, is this federal, state, local, county, MSD, waterworks, stormwater, or is it even the one the property owner likes to hear the least is the problem starting right on your property. So there's just that whole thing to work through before you can even start figuring out anything else. And I know our Public Works Department are real troopers in diligently working through these and trying to provide the best resolution possible. So that's all I had.
Councilman Zaronka.
Trailing off of water again. Gordon, will you be checking in with Mr. Martin? Okay, that's all I have.
Councilwoman Schneider.
I just want to reiterate what Brian said, how excited I am for Town Square to kick off, and looking forward not to the construction over the next year, but to it being opened next spring. That's all I have.
Councilman Gath.
I was excited to see the extra parking and the use of the property at Cooper and Kenwood that we have there. I was a little concerned that was anybody actually going to park there, but I've seen 8, 10, 12, 20 cars parking there depending on the time of day. I think that's a great solution if employees can park over there to leave spots open for the customers. That makes great sense. I want to thank Brian Cruz for an amazingly thorough tour of the golf maintenance building. I know the rest of you saw that building in the past, the old building. You've toured it, I think many of you. Anyway, it was great to see the work that goes on out there and how much is done in such a little area. I'm excited for just some of the thinking they've done. It's in the plans to be replaced, and the way that they have considered their neighbors by moving doors from one side to another, the way they've considered their employees by figuring out where the heat is and how to keep the sun out of, from overwarming different things. It's really great. I'm also excited they're going to be working with the architects to see if installation of solar panels or sunlights or, skylights, whatever, what can they do to make that building more efficient? And I'm excited to see what comes from that. Finally, I also want to say that apparently I think Brian Cruz is in charge of everything, but he's not. I had a constituent yesterday tell me that there was a flag in disrepair at the park. And I said, oh, it's got to be Brian Cruz's park. And he said, no, actually it's Public Works. And in less than a day, he had contacted Joshua DeHart and Gordon. I'm impressed. I got a photograph from the complainant less than 36 hours after he had showed me the poorly shaped flag of a perfectly brand new flag flying at Pioneer Park. And he jokingly told me how incredibly efficient I was as a public servant. And I told him, no, actually, I think if you had called, you would have gotten not faster. I hope not faster, but as good a service. That's just it's an example of the kind of city that we live in and the care that they give to customer service. So I just want to thank everybody that was involved in that. That's all, Mr. Mayor.
Vice Mayor Javari.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to talk about two things. It's all good. People were just very anxious on the Peppermill Farm. They were just keep talking about when we're gonna, before they didn't want it, now they want it as soon as possible. That's number one. And number two is that people are, I was talking to some of my constituents regarding the downtown project. And they are very excited and they just can't wait to see that finish. And they asked me when they're gonna start. I said, it's gonna be as soon as possible. So they were very happy to hear that. That's all I have, sir.
Great. A couple quick things. Citizens of Blue Ash Academy. I've talked to a few of the participants and they are absolutely amazed at the complexity of the city, how it works, the employees' skill level and their dedication. And I just want to thank the city administration and all the department directors for setting the tone for your departments, providing training and the mentorship that fosters this kind of commitment from our city employees. All the residents have noticed it very, very clearly. Excited about Town Square, and I want to thank Brian and Scott Kincaid on the golf maintenance rehabilitation. Considering the residents, I mean, trying to solve any problem they possibly can by redesigning that property. It's going to be great. I think the residents are going to be very happy at how much quieter it is and how much prettier it is, and it's going to be much easier to live next to. So thank you for that. With that, we're going to move into executive session for property acquisition to consider the purchase of property for public purposes or for the sale of property at competitive bidding if premature disclosure of information would give an unfair competitive or bargaining advantage to a person whose personal private interest is adverse to the general public interest. Do I have a motion to move into executive session?
So move.
Second.
Second.
Jamie, please call the roll.
Councilman Capell,
Yes.
Councilwoman Cole,
Yes.
Councilwoman Schneider,
Yes.
Councilman Zerwanka,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Javari,
Yes.
Councilman Gath,
Yes.
Mayor Cirkin.
Yes.
7 yes.
Thank